Words like e-commerce or electronic commerce are often thrown around in all sorts of places, but to properly understand them we must first go back to 1957. 1957, the birth of the internet, and the framework for the digitization of our society. Although, at this point, the internet was very much restricted to military and government uses, so we'll have to fast forward 32 years. And here we are, 1989, the year that affects us most. The internet goes public, the birth of the internet. Increasingly, the internet has been seen to govern our lives, and almost every aspect of life has been computerized, from doing research for a college paper, socializing with friends, gaming, or just as a means of a time suit. It's no surprise that buying and selling have also taken to the internet, which is exactly what e-commerce is. Today, e-commerce, or electronic commerce, can be defined as any sort of transaction made on the internet. So if you've bought something online, whether physical or electronic, then you've engaged in e-commerce. This can include buying directly or buying through affiliates or agents. If you've sold something online, again, whether physical or electronic, then you've also engaged in e-commerce. This can include selling on your website, selling through social networking sites, selling through an auction site, and many, many more. E-commerce can be between a business and customers, also known as B2C. B2C is what you've most likely been involved in. E-commerce can be between businesses and other businesses, for example, one company buying hardware components from another. And it could also be between customers, for example, people selling through an auction website. This is known as P2P. E-commerce provides a simple platform to do business with countries other than your own. Long gone are the days where business was confined to your city and where your audience was also confined to your city. E-commerce is huge and it's growing.
If you're a services business, if you're a retailer, you are traditionally selling directly to customers, and you're B2C. Okay, and that's really what this is talking about over here. And the key parts is you need a web presence, you need a web portal, you need to present your offering in some format. You need to leverage social networks in order to get that exposure. And so, you know, interest groups. Let's just say you have local B2C is traditionally what it's all about. So local customers that you're trying to engage with. So what are the interest groups that you're trying to target within a local context? That's traditionally B2C. I doubt that there are many companies that are looking to try and engage with a direct consumer, individual consumer, in another part of the world, unless you are a services-orientated business that's outsourcing services of some sort. But I doubt that that's typically who's in the room today. And obviously, you can also leverage auction sites and various other mechanisms. The B2B side of it, though, is I think what's more interesting, and what I just want to touch on a little bit more as we get there.
E-commerce is between businesses and other businesses. For example, one company buying hardware components from another. And it could also be between customers. For example, people selling through an auction website.
So that B2B piece, I think, is what kind of talks to a lot of you more, the manufacturers, the distributors. I'm trying to sell a bunch of products that I want to export to another market. The process of having a web presence is no different. The process of needing to collect a payment is no different. But how you're going to target those customers is going to be different. And why? Because if I'm a consumer, it's all about that social media, it's about interest groups, it's about local relevance. If I'm trying to tackle the global markets, I'm going to have to access those customers in a very different way. Although still targeted, it's going to need to be, my proposition is different. And the types of transactions I'm going to take are substantially different. So it's not about a couple of $100, it's probably about a couple of $1,000 or $10,000 that one needs to transact with. And why is that different is also because because the value is so much higher, it's going to be more difficult to actually get a customer to do that transaction through a website.